Summer.
Such a beautiful weather.
Yeah, it's phenomenal.
Actually, I have a today, not tonight, but who knows? I'm with Conor Clyne. And
What are you planning to do to me later, Mariana?
let's see, I don't know my plan yet. But before I'm gonna start asking you a lot of interesting questions, do you remember how do we know each other? Yeah.
I have to think back because I think the first time we met was maybe at the Koreanic. Were you modeling there for Gimetti? For Michelle?
Nope.
No? That was a different girl. Okay. I guess then it was on the yacht though, because you were on the yacht in 2018 when we went out. Or was it 2017? It was 2017. You were in a video with me because I remember it's the vlog from Odessit 2017.
With Michael.
Yes, with Michael.
Okay, so we have a common friend. That's how we know each other. And also one more funny case. I don't know, when you was filming video at the beach and I was just there by accident.
Oh, yes. Maybe we actually met there the first time. Yes, I think that's it. Yes. Because afterwards you came out on the
You
boat.
came to
I didn't
me.
know who you were. Yeah, so basically I started filming what Ukrainian girls think of foreign guys. It was back in 2017 and we done some interviews here in the center, and then Michael said, let's go down to Langeron, and he was
beach.
sunbathing in Langeron, only Mariana, and Michael knew you, so we interviewed you as if you were random, well, you were random to me,
Okay,
and then afterwards
yeah.
you came on the yacht
And
with us.
question
then,
was,
yeah.
what do you prefer, money or love?
What do I prefer?
No, you ask me.
Yeah, I asked you.
What
yeah.
what I'm choosing. But if you want to know the answer, you can check that video. I'm gonna leave a link,
yeah.
and you can check it. Now you have your channel about life in Eastern Europe.
Yes, lifestyle in Eastern Europe. How to live your dream lifestyle in Ukraine, Russia, Moldova, or Belarus.
Dream life.
Yeah.
Dream life. Okay.
Because it's a dream here, as you see from the weather.
Absolutely agree. So, how did you start your business, and what was about your first trip to Ukraine?
My first trip to Ukraine.
Yes.
Well, when I first came to Ukraine, it was 2009, and I wasn't a vlogger at the time. I actually came here on a very memorable trip. A lot of unforgettable things happened. I got drugged in Sevastopol and Crimea, and I was unconscious for 36 hours. I talk about this in the channel. If anyone is interested in hearing the whole story, you can go and check it out. You can go and find it in one of the first podcasts I had. Also I had some girl in Odessa. She tried to steal my phone from me at Ibiza Club. So in spite of all those things that happened, I still had a phenomenal time on my first trip. And that made me want to come back to Ukraine again and again and again. My first YouTube channel, well, it's still on the same channel, but the first videos I made were actually about how to learn language. This is very geeky,
Okay.
and it was a completely different subject, and I made that for several years, and I was giving presentations at conferences on the topic, and eventually it was actually a girl I was seeing who was Polish, and I'd met her at one of these conferences, right? So it was kind of a direct connection with my YouTube channel. And she told me, so Conor, as much as I like you, this stuff about the language learning, it's boring as fuck. You live a lot more interesting life in Eastern Europe, and where are all the chicks? I know you see other women, so where are they? Why they're not in your videos? That would be more entertaining. So eventually I took what she said to heart, and I started to actually film my real lifestyle here a bit more. And that's how the Zara experience.
Okay. So tell me now, what do you think what's the advantage of being Odessit or living in Ukraine if you feel yourself as Odessit? So it's already like two questions.
Two questions. Do I feel Odessit? I guess I do. Actually, there was a channel that was 100 Odessans or Odessit
Yeah.
a few years ago, and they interviewed me for it.
Okay.
So yes, я тоже чувствую меня Odessit.
Хорошо.
The advantages of living here. Well, there are three main advantages that I always talk about on my channel. Cost of living is probably about a third, a quarter, so you can get amazing value by relocating here to Eastern Europe. Obviously, there are hot chicks galore everywhere, even though there are a lot of complications and obstacles to overcome if you come to Ukraine, like avoiding scammers or whatnot. But yeah, basically there are a lot of beautiful women, of course. That's the other big reason, I guess, that attracts guys. And the third one is like a soft feeling of freedom, I would say, especially over the last 2 years where there's been all these COVID restrictions in a lot of the Western countries.
No COVID in Ukraine.
And in Ukraine, they haven't really affected me. Yeah, everything is open for, I don't know, there's no problem with clubbing, going to bars. All this stuff has been pretty normal for the last year. So they're the basic three reasons, I would say. I mean, I was also personally very interested in the history and the geopolitics.
And the history.
Yeah? You don't believe it?
No.
Why not?
you just talk about hot chicks, and now you're talking about history.
Well, I don't talk about it on my channel, right? Because I don't think most of my viewers are that interested in the history of the
history of hot chicks.
History of hot chicks.
Okay.
Well, I did do a video about why Eastern European women are beautiful.
What you can say about political relationship at the moment?
Which relationship with whom?
Our favorite one, which we had for the last 7 years, Ukrainian Russian war. What do you think? What's your personal opinion about this topic? Because it's been very hot in the news for the last, 1 month maybe?
Yeah, at least 1 month. I made a video about a month ago what I think would happen. Now we're coming towards the end of January in 2022. Well, the situation has become more tense, or you could say that actually the weather has just become colder, which makes it more closer to optimal to have a new invasion by Russia here in Ukraine. So I remain optimistic that things will de-escalate over the next month because I'm an optimist by nature, and that we won't have an escalation in the military conflict in the country between Russia and Ukraine. But being a little bit more realistic, the omens are not good, and there's not much else. I don't have a direct line to President Putin or Zelensky or to Biden, so I can't really say much more other than what I see happening. It doesn't make me feel very reassured when I listen to Russian leaders and what the pro-Russian media will says in English. In the English language, it just seems to be setting the ground to justify more military action against Ukraine. So that doesn't make it's not just that I read the Western media and there's all this hysteria. And I understand that the media in general wants you to get and click on things because they make money. So of course being sensationalist is in their business, it's basically their business model for a lot of them. But that aside, and accounting for that, I see what Russia or the Russian officials do and the pro-Russian media does, and it doesn't make me feel very comfortable, shall we say. So just both of them together aren't really reassuring, but I'm always an optimist, so I'm gonna
be more even optimist than Corin, and I can say read less news and come to Ukraine, because so far it's just too hot in the news, but it's still okay in reality, because Western media woke up yesterday and we actually in a war for the last 7 years, so it's not very fresh for us. But in the end, nobody knows what happened, and we're trying to still be positive.
And we're still here in Odessa now at the end of January, so
it's okay.
It's a good time to come. There are not very many tourists going to come. There are very few tourists around, so you get.
I will say no tourists.
Yes, I think there are none. Basically, for the last month or so. So that's probably got some advantage. If you want a more authentic tourist-free experience in Ukraine, right now is probably the best time to come. The best time to come. So.
What's your plan now? What you gonna do with your channel, and what's your next destination maybe?
So next destination, I'm probably gonna go back to Western Ukraine and film in the mountains. That's what I'm thinking of doing in about a week or so.
Cool.
I got the beautiful Carpathian Mountains in the west of Ukraine, so I haven't really covered that so much on my channel, so thinking of going there. And then I'll be back in Ukraine with clients probably in the summer, for sure. It's more for guys who want to spend more and more time here. That's just how things have developed. So, you come here, maybe you want to buy property, or you want to get a visa and residency, all that kind of stuff, as well as going partying and meeting chicks.
After your video about Carpathia, maybe it will be a new destination, because west part of Ukraine, pretty cool.
It's really beautiful there, and it's not so touristic on an international level. Most people don't know about it. It has mainly domestic tourism, so it's been a hidden gem, shall we say. There aren't too many hidden gems in the world left, I think, just with, Instagram and YouTube and how information nowadays flows so quickly. But definitely parts of Western Ukraine don't have much international tourism, and they're amazing, definitely.
And
So,
you're gonna see it soon on the Conor channel.
yes, in the next month or two.
Okay, and what would you say to yourself, I don't know, 7 years ago, or to future travelers? What's your magical advice, maybe, if you have one?
What would I have done differently 7 years ago? Or
Yep, or what you will change maybe
I'm
before.
not why 7 years ago? Why
I
not
don't know.
12 when I first came?
I saw it was 7 years ago.
No.
12 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you definitely Odessit.
Yes, exactly. I'm a veteran of many Ukrainian
I was here
missions.
12 years ago. First
You came-
time.
Oh, first time when you came
Yeah.
from your hometown to Odessa.
How I didn't know you, Conor.
Well, maybe we met.
Who
On that
knows?
first day. Maybe it was you who tried to steal my phone in the club.
Maybe it was my
Edith's
first
the club, I
business.
just forgot about
It
you.
was my first business in Odessa.
Yeah, the first business was pickpocketing tourists. Anyways, what would I have done differently? I think, in hindsight, considering how much time I spent here, I would have invested in probably getting someone to show me the ropes instead of focusing on solo travel, because most of my friends would not come to Ukraine. Actually, none of my friends. What do I mean most of my friends? None of my friends came with me. I only had solo missions. I was coming first for trips for about 3 weeks in the summer, and finding someone who would have made my experience a lot more fulfilling in the beginning when I had to go around by myself. I mean, going solo travel is fine for character building.
If you want to
but-
lose your phone.
Yes,
or get
exactly.
drugged.
Exactly. None of this would have happened. I should have hired someone like Mariana, basically, to have brought me around and shown me everything and kept me safe from the scammers. I just had those two big problems on my first trip. I did invest in learning Russian, so this I definitely advise if you're going to spend a lot of time here. As I've already said, this was something that I did do. I wish it had been really good when I first came, but that's just, that's life. It wasn't. If what I would have done, if it was possible, was to set up my lifestyle so that I could choose where to live and have that independent from where my revenue streams were being made, right? So I think they're the two big things. The three big things are, figure out how to set up your lifestyle so that you can make, have your revenue streams, whatever it happens to be, have them remote. Learn Russian to start with, and also Ukrainian, so get the language skills. And, you can figure out everything yourself eventually, but do you want to spend a decade? Do you want to get drugged? Grind me up first, get your phone stolen, and just probably get scammed for a few €1,000 eventually, or dollars, by these restaurant scams, when you can invest in getting someone to teach you everything, whether it's Mariana or me, if you're planning to relocate. I think that's the big thing I would say.
Yeah,
because-
just to have probably someone local, wherever it is, but it's good to have if you know anybody.
Maybe you know someone already and they can show you the ropes, and that's great. But if you don't, it's probably better. I think it's definitely better to invest in finding that person who's going to help you, right? So, just makes sense to me. That's what I've learned. Or you can spend 10 years. Like, it took me 10 years to figure it all out, but
By your own experience. Okay, thank you so much.
Beleza.
And see you in next video in Carpathy Mountains.
Are you gonna come with me?
whatever. Maybe. I told you I don't know. Still my plan for tonight. So
What? We're getting on a train go to Carpathians?
why not? It's typical Ukrainian plan means no plan.
No plans.
You should know
Be
this for 12
spontaneous.
years.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So, excellent. Do побачення. Ciao, ciao.